And we're live. Good morning, everyone, and thanks for joining me today, January the 31st, Friday, 10 a.m. I know you guys have a lot of stuff to do in your life, so I am very blessed and thankful that everyone shows up and hangs out with me for this one little hour of our day. Hopefully, it is informative and useful and fun, ultimately, for you as much as it is for me. I get just as much as everyone's showing up as hopefully you're getting out of me. I mean, it is a lot of fun, but everybody knows it is that time. We like to start things off right when it comes to CyberCast IRL. The camo cup comes out, the top comes off, and then, wait for it. Oh, there it is. The morning monster. Today's monster of choice is ultraviolet. I think this is my favorite. I want to go back and forth, but ultimately, if this were the only monster I could ever have for the rest of time, I wouldn't be upset. But here we go. The morning pour. It is there. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's danger. Danger close. Oh, the foam is rising. But, oh my goodness, what is he doing? It's getting a little frothy. Getting a little frothy. I'm keeping an eye on this one. I didn't get the whole pour out this morning. It got too frothy. I must have put a little too much ice in it. Oh, isn't that good? Don't you love that? There we go. There we go. I see. So Roswell says, and the top comes off. Oh, the top of the cup. Yes, yes, yes. It would. Yeah, that would be. Ooh, a horror show. You don't want to see that? There we go. I'm gonna have to take a tug off of this bad boy because there's way too much in there. That is a sassy good time right there. My goodness, got a little ice in there with it. Man, that's tasty. And now that we've got that out of the way, but man, I'm very satisfied. Somebody asked me how excited was I to take that morning pour to get that first tug off of my monster. That I wait a whole week. I do not drink Monster all week to savor this moment in time where I get to drink my favorite thing. That is the old Monstericious. But woo, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great. I've been on a lot of stuff this week. I have done a lot of live stuff this week. And it's always mostly the most sweet to come home. You know what I mean? To be here on my own thing. But man, I've been busy with Anti-Siphon. We did a bunch of stuff this week. We had the student Q&A in Discord, which was great. We had the Anticast this week, which was also great. John Strand was doing his SOC core skills, pay it forward what you can stuff. It was awesome. A lot of fun. What else? Yesterday, we did the BHIS webcast with John. John was raspy. It was fun. And speaking of voices, someone asked, that was another weird thing that was happening this week. I was getting a lot of love for my voice and saying, how I have a pleasant voice, I guess. That's the word on the street, is that my voice is something that people enjoy, which is good, right? Because otherwise it would be grating to listen to me and you'd be like, yeah, he's saying the things I like, but dang, I wish it was, had a different timbre to the tone. So that is so cool to hear people like my voice and that it's easy to listen to. Roswell, UK, I am looking at you. Yeah, your voice is your passport. That's right. Outlaw 11 says, I got my CCNA yesterday. Man, I have been seeing the tags come in. I want to make sure that I'm getting to the chat because that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to engage with you good folks out there. So if you want to make sure that I see something that you want me to see, make sure to tag my name at Daniel Lowry. It should pop up in the whole YouTube chat scenario. So make sure you do that, and then it gives my name in red, and it makes it easy for me to kind of filter through just regular chatting between everyone. So let me go to the chat room real quick and see what I've missed. All right, we got a lot of let's go. That's right. We got a lot of oldies and goldies in the chat room. Thank you so much, everyone. I'm seeing Wayne's Real World, who is also kind of one of our unofficial official moderators. that if I miss something, he's going to try to keep an eye on chat as well. So if I'm missing something, maybe tag Wayne and he can make sure that I can see it. He does a great job of that, and we thank Wayne. He is a true friend to the channel. We got White Hat Sheepdog. We see Mr. Underhill, Bearded Ruckus, Super User Do. Love that name. That is a great name. Dream Logic Inc. Let's see here. White Hat Sheepdog says, you so epic with your monster routine. I love organic things like that. I just did it the first episode that we did because I love drinking Monster, and it just helps me kind of get going. It's my coffee. I don't drink coffee. Oh man, it's good. Have I tried the White Monster? Luke J, White Monster is what got me into Monster. And yeah, I just don't have any on me right now. My wife usually buys me like a case, and right now it's the orange, the green, and the purple. So maybe next time I'll have her grab me some with white and something else. I think there's a red, white, and blue case as well. So maybe I'll go that way next time. That could be good. Let's see here. ASMR from Daniel Larry. Yeah, I gotta start off right in the morning. That monster was sizzling. Yeah, it was. Oh man, got hot in here all of a sudden with that ASMR. FedEx, you crazy nut. Oh, who else is in there? Space Tacos, Legrat, Marcus Kyler, or is it Siler? It's a good question. Let us know. Is it a hard C or the S kind of sounding C? Let's see here. So Outlaw 11 got their CCNA yesterday. That's a tough hill to climb, and you should be proud of yourself for getting that. We're all proud of you for nailing that certification. So good for you. Good on you. And that brings up a question that I wrote down. I keep little notes, to remind me of stuff that I maybe want to talk about. I think that's maybe like a really good segue into this. What is everybody here doing? And please throw it in the chat. What is everybody here doing to skill up? Like, what is the thing that you are focused on right now? What is that? Maybe it's certification. Maybe it's just learning a technology. Maybe you're taking a training course. Maybe you're watching a YouTube series. I don't care what it is. It can be you're actually sitting in a in-classroom class or doing live on demand, that kind of stuff. Could be anything. And my follow-up question is to that, why did you choose that thing? What was it? Maybe it was, oh, my job required this, or it just seemed really interesting, or I want to go into DFIR. So me and, memory analysis are getting real friendly here lately. That's the kind of thing. I want to know, what was the impetus? There's our word for the day, impetus. That's a fun word. I learned it from watching a TV show. Here's a fun story. As a segue, start putting your stuff in the chat. What are you doing to skill up, and why did you choose that thing? And while you guys write that down, I'll tell you a little story that I think is hysterical. It entertained me to no end. I was in 10th grade, and it was the first day of school, and I'm sitting in class for world history. Right? Was it world? I think it was U.S. history. It was a U.S. history class. And the teacher got in front of the class and said, I just want to kind of get a gauge of how much you guys know about U.S. history. So I'm just going to kind of ask some questions. And if you know the answer to it, just raise your hand and I'll choose randos out there. So we're like, okay, everybody's just sitting there and tell me more. And, he starts asking questions and I know the answer. So I'm raising my hand. And I'm like the only one that knows the answers. Now, granted, I grew up in a very rural, poor area of Florida. So education isn't high on a lot of people's list of things to do in that area. I just happened to know these things, and it became almost comical because the teacher would ask, I would raise my hand. Every question I knew the answer to. And everybody just started waiting for him to ask the question, and then they would look over to see if I was going to raise my hand. And of course I would. And this girl, I remember her name was Jeannie, and she said, how do you know all this? And I said, watching television. And everybody laughed because they thought I was joking. I was not joking. I watched a lot of television and movies growing up. So And of course, they didn't believe me. I'm not kidding. And they're like, "That's bull." You didn't learn all this watching television. We watch TV too, and I'm like, "You're just not watching the right things, I guess, or you're not paying attention like I do." And I said, "Well, ask the next question." So the teacher asked something about the scandal in a White House in the, I guess it was the 70s, and it had something to do with wiretapping. And they look at me and I go, "Yeah, it's Watergate." And then, "Yeah, okay, how did you learn it?" I go, "It's Forrest Gump. You go watch Forrest Gump. They have a whole thing inside that movie is like a history lesson from the 50s to, I guess the early 80s, mid 80s, because it's all about American history and him living through those times and those periods." So I'm like, and they're like, "Oh yeah, they didn't talk about that." I'm like, "Remember, he goes to the White House. He's talking about, I see guys with flashlights." So I just thought it was funny. You can learn so much if you just pay attention. And now let me go to the chat. Let's see what you guys are talking about when it comes to what you are learning today. Okay, I should consider creating an ASMR channel. My voice is velvety. Instant barbershop comment from Coming to America. Nice reference, Space Tacos. I do love that movie. And then there's the beard, says Legrat. Is the beard getting more love than I expect? I mean, it's just a beard, and it's kind of white, very, very whitish. Used to be very dark. Actually, funny story. This part that's all white used to be blonde, and then this part right here, the chops, as they've always been dark brown. But my goatee area, my mustache and chin region, used to be very blonde. So much so that people asked me if I dyed it blonde, and I was like, "No, I don't. I didn't." And then it started to darken over time. But in my early years of beard growing, that joker was like, it was very like golden blonde. It was so funny that people asked me if I dyed it that way. Luke J says he's going to bring a case of White Monster to Denver. Oh, yeah, because, right, I'm wearing my Wild West Hackenfest shirt for today in honor of. That is happening next week. Can't wait to get there. Luke J, can't wait to see you there. So, yeah, bring some White Monster, and we will toast to CyberCons. May they live long and prosper, right? Let's see here. Okay, what's going on? Anti-Siphon training. I'm going to go for that ACE-T cert. That's right. Anti-Siphon is working on this whole ACE-T cert. Go check that out, antisiphotraining.com if you're interested. Could be useful and eventually more relevant than now because it's really, really new. And that's the idea, right? We want to give you stuff. We want you to get goals that are useful to you. So we want to put the carrot out there for you that is going to be not only just something that might help you on a resume, but is actually useful, right? That if you have that certification, it really does prove something about your skills and knowledge. That's the idea. Mr. Underhill says he's currently finishing an AS in networking and cybersecurity. Had half the classes done already, and cyber certs at my school decided just to finish up after getting CompTIA trifecta. Good for you. That's good stuff right there. Just finished John Strand's training course yesterday, working on gaining real-world skills to land my first security role. Brandon Corbin coming in hot. Hopefully you enjoy it. What am I saying, right? John is amazing. He just does such a great job. He is a plethora of knowledge and experience, and he brings that, and obviously so passionate about what he does, and he loves helping people, and that's why he does everything that he does and puts all that stuff out there, and that's why I really enjoy working with him and for him. We got Tech Ricky currently studying for the CISA Plus. Heck yeah, looking to pivot and specialize in a blue team role. Good job. Kick some ace, Tech Ricky. Get that CISA, man. I used to teach CISA Plus. That was one of the things I did. A lot of fun stuff in there. A lot of cool stuff. Get to spin up some cool things. Let's see. My scroll jumped on me, so I got to find out where I was. Let's see here. Caesar or Kaiser? Roswell asked Legrat, is it Caesar or Kaiser? Yeah, good question. I was that kid. Yes, Robert Rittenhouse. I was that kid. Okay, Roswell says to level up, I'm doing the anti-siphon pay what you can Every Sans Summit Virtual and Blue Cape Security Cast, Simply Cyber Daily, Every Sans Webcast. Oh, and I sleep occasionally. You are busy with the skillage. But that's how you do this, right? You kind of, and you're taking advantage of all the really good resources that are out there. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I'm gonna lay some truth, some under the cover, some inside baseball stuff in Daniel's mind. Back when I was making training content every day, and I still do make training content, and that's how I get paid. It's one of the ways I get paid. It's not anymore. It used to be my sole bread and butter. I was like, how is it that anybody pays for this stuff? There's so much free content that you legit could get all the skills necessary to do a cyber role without ever paying a dime for training. It's possible. Now, obviously, it would take a lot of work and effort to find all the right spots and curate and everything like that. But if you were to put that time and effort in, it is absolutely possible. The resources out there, some things are really specialized and harder to get at, right? Like last week I talked about evil jinx and fishlets and things of that nature. Continuing to learn, that's where I'm upskilling, right? I'm learning more about phishing and using evil jinx as a tool and having that skill set. I want to be able to say I have a decent control and understanding and capability with evil jinx, and that'll be fun. You never know. Maybe I'll do a whole training course on it one day. And not that I got against anybody making money. We talked about that as well. Definitely, if you got a talent for teaching and a skill that people have in demand, and you can make some money, just don't get greedy. That's always the caveat, right? Greed is our enemy. We don't like that. That's a bad character trait. Within reason, make some money and support yourself and your families. But man, you can really do a lot for free out there. So let's see here. Oh, sweet. Just reading about German research. Okay. And the power grid that would allow a TA to take down the power in Europe. Man, that is scary, isn't it? Oh, goodness gracious. FedEx says, man, that 4K camera does bring out the Wild West letter pop, doesn't it, though? She'll love that. That's great. I was on Thirsty Thursdays last night with InfoSec Pat, and he, before the show, was just like, bro, you're crispy. You're just so crisp. I'm like, we work really hard to make it look as nice as we can. You guys that have been here know where it's come from to where it's at. I've been tweaking and modifying the studio to try to give it a little more pizzazz, as it were. All right, let's see what else is in the chat room, then I'll get back to the show. But I see a lot of people. I see someone, Wayne's Real World says he's doing this, Cyber Kill Chain, Diamond Model. Yeah, that's a fun one. And Miter, all great stuff though, right? So get out there and keep skilling up. I love asking people like how they are skilling up, because maybe you're doing something I didn't think about, right? A lot of good stuff. Good job, everybody. Continue to skill up. Take a break from time to time, as you should. You got to decompress, because if you keep too hard at it for too long, you're gonna burn. You're gonna burn out so fast, and you got to take some of that time off. You got to take care of the old self, right? It's the airplane scenario, right? You got to put your mask on before you help others, or before you're helping yourself. You got to have that mask on. You got to help yourself out. Let's see here. Carrie Chasen says Forrest Gump had to change his password from one Forrest one. Dude, that is funny. That is a good one. That might be one of your best ones yet. I love that. That's good stuff. Roswell's getting like every innuendo possible. Oh, Roswell UK, you are cracking me up today. White Hat Sheepdog, which GitHub accounts would you recommend to follow or learn from? Ooh. So John Strand has one. He's got a pretty good one where all his lab stuff is in it. And then he updated that. I actually wrote it down yesterday to Kaiser Austin. Kaiser. I mean, what am I doing? Look, here's the thing, kids. We've got this fun thing. I want to talk about DeepSeek a little bit here, so I got these web articles pulled up, but I'm gonna go to GitHub, hub.com/KISERAUSTIN for those of you that took John Strand's class yesterday and all week, honestly, you've got this whole, let's go to repositories. I think it's this one, Intro Labs Remastered. And bada bing, there you go. There's all the labs and intro class files that they use. There's tools, there's everything you needed for that class is in here. So if you want to play around with that, that's cool stuff to go to. And then awesome lists are always good. So just like do a Google search for, let's see here, I'll Google because I have DuckDuckGo on. I will Google for GitHub and awesome. I cannot spell. Of course, my cursor was in the way. Awesome lists cybersecurity, like so. Right? These are going to be fun. A lot of people love to put these together. I'm one of those people that does this. I like to curate a list of really cool stuff and resources and then make a GitHub repo about it. So I think this is a list of awesome lists, right? Yeah, it's an awesome list of awesome lists. So that'll be fun. I got to bookmark this. Awesome security, awesome web security, machine learning for cyber, web hacking, mobile security, threat intelligence, right? So honestly, like, I don't necessarily have a list of those, but there's a quick way to find it. This one looks really interesting to me. So good stuff. Let's get back into the chat. Let's see here. We see Outlaw 11 says, getting AWS Cloud Practitioner next. Oh, that's a good one. Like that. I'm working towards credits to transfer in Sam's bachelor's degree. Man, you are going after things, aren't you? Where it's going to be getting paid for by the GI Bill, as you deserve, good sir. You volunteered to put yourself in harm's way for us and our freedom. We salute you and thank you very much. I think every vet deserves that GI Bill. Love that stuff. So get it done. Let's see here. That's a good idea for training courses. Thank you, Dream Logic. Wayne's Real World says, really good question about finding GitHub. Okay, good. Thank you, Wayne, for keeping that in the wheelhouse here. So I definitely see it. Why am I here, Daniel Lowry? New stuff to learn and help unwind. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, that's just a great way. I mean, honestly, Google is your friend. If you can get really good at searching and using the tools that are out there, you can find the next tool that can be useful. So GitHub is always a great place to kind of go lurking around and searching for GitHub and Google. Do the dorking thing. If you're not familiar with Google Dorks, GitHub Dorks, just dorking in general. It's just a fancy way, or a funny way, I guess not fancy, but it is a funny way of saying, I want to do advanced search features to really narrow down what it is I want to look for and get the results that I really need. If you get really good at that, let's jump back in here. One of the things you can do is go to, well, if you're looking for like exploits and stuff, it is the, is it the Google, I can never remember, Google hacking database, right? Google hacking, yeah, exploit. There we go. exploitdb.com/Google hacking database. And then there you go. And these are some of the latest and greatest Google dorks that people are finding gold out of, right? So you see right here, site github.com. Right, look at them there. You can Google dork GitHub, and you can also GitHub dork GitHub, so that's fun. Begin OpenSSH private key, right? And what does it do? Files containing passwords. So if you click on this, you can learn a little bit more. That's basically it. You just grab this, copy, and then I guess we got to go to Google because, right, it's a Google dork. Google.com. Paste it in. And you'll notice it has like site : GitHub. That's a dork, right? That's an advanced functionality search feature from GitHub to say, only look in GitHub. That's the site I want you to give me results from. And then you'll notice it has quotations around this, begin and open SSH private key. That is a specific string that they are looking for, or that you're looking for. You hit Google search, and then bam, support open SSH private keys. And you can see it found that string right there in the results. Bada bing. And it's only in GitHub. So that's Google dorking. So you can kind of use that as hackers do, but for like specific stuff. So if I was looking for, Waza or some tool or something to that effect, maybe I'm looking for new C2s, whatever. You can do the same thing to kind of like uncover some gold, go gold mining using Google Dorks and GitHub Dorks. So cool stuff. Let's see here. What else is going on in the chat room? Let's see here. The article on researching info and shutting down European powder grid is called. Oh, thank you, Legrat, for putting that in there. That's good stuff. From blinking lights to blackouts, new research on taking down European power grids. We in the U.S., that's a real danger as well, and they have been attacked actually a couple of times. And when I say attacked, I mean people with machine guns went and shot like power stations. Crazy, right? That is an insane thing. And just to make sure that I'm not speaking out of school, let's look that up. U.S. power station attack guns. Oh, let's see here. Authorities fear extremists are targeting U.S. power grid. North Carolina calls attack on power station. Right? Here's this from the New York Times. I don't know if it'll let me read it because New York Times likes to get a paywall. Sure. There we go. Tens of thousands of people this is for you, Roswell, right? Well, I'll read the headline. Governor calls attack on power station a new level of threat. Governor Roy Cooper of North Carolina said that whoever carried out the attack, quote, knew exactly what they were doing, end quote. And there you go. I told you I would read you a headline, and I did. So this says tens of thousands of people in rural North Carolina County remained without power on Monday as authorities worked to repair 2 power stations damaged by targeted gunfire on Saturday night. Right? Isn't this crazy? This is insane to me that this is the world we live in that like, oh, we know where you're weak now. It's that power grid thing. And that's where the danger spot is. Excuse me. Right? Fred on says that the org that I currently work for has offered me a voluntary resignation that will see me paid and keep my benefits up till September 30th, 2025. I have until February 6th to make that decision. Advice. Man, that's a toughie. I honestly couldn't give you any advice for that, and here's why. I don't know your situation. I don't know. There is so much minutia that goes on in people's lives to make that kind of decision. That would be a hard decision for me to make for myself, right? If you have till February 6th, that's not much time. I don't know how long you've had to that they told you this. I don't know if that was a very recent thing, but man, I do not envy your position. I mean, they're kind of forcing your hands on a lot of stuff. I do not envy you being in that spot, and definitely wish you the best. So it says you currently have been offered a voluntary resignation. So I guess what happens if you don't take it? Do they fire you immediately and you get nothing? You know what I mean? Like there's a lot baked into that question that has way more questions that would take up the entirety of CyberCast IRL for us to kind of sift through. My advice to you would be get some close friends and people that you know in the industry, or in industry and people that have worked in enterprise and business and at that but the white collar level, and ask them what they think and kind of get a consensus around from the people that are close to you. Because they're going to be a little more tuned in to your specific situation and hopefully be able to give you better advice. I wish I could totally just and download it like the Matrix, I know Kung Fu kind of thing, so that I could better advise you on that. But man, it's a tough spot. It's a tough anytime you got to trust me. I know when I got sat down in a meeting and said, so here's the thing, none of you work here anymore. And I know you've worked here for years with exemplary records, and you've made the company buku amounts of money, but we've decided to go in another direction. And you're like, what's that? Yeah, I didn't catch it. Yeah, it wasn't really. I thought this was going to be a little something else. But anyway, are you telling me I don't work here no more? That sucks. It is not fun. And for those of you that have gone through that and that will go through that, you always got to be prepared that that might be the case. Always be tending your garden. And I talked at the top of the show about how I had been on a lot of live stuff this week. Also, I was on Pat Gorman, right? InfoSec Pat, his Thirsty Thursday last night. I was on Michael Furos. I've been on a Bearded IT Dad. Like this all has happened within like the last 10 days. And I was on Red Siege's Wednesday Offensive. And we talked a lot about work and jobs and how we get jobs and what's the best way to go about that. And honestly, I've been focusing on LinkedIn specifically, but it's not just LinkedIn the more I've thought about it. I'm talking about tending your garden. I was equating LinkedIn to being a garden. If you want fruits and vegetables out of it, you gotta work it, right? You gotta work the soil, you gotta plant the seeds, you gotta water, you gotta fertilize, you gotta do all the things that you need to do so that you can get out of that tool what it can give you, which is hopefully, opportunity. And that's your fruits and vegetables that you hope to the harvest that you can reap. But it's not just LinkedIn, honestly, right? It's everything you do that's putting yourself out there, creating your own GitHub, building tools, writing blog posts, walkthroughs, anything, teaching something and putting yourself out there and making yourself a voice in your communities. And someone said to me on the Wednesday Offensive, they said, "Are you saying that we got to become influencers?" And no, you do not have to become an influencer. Honestly, I wouldn't even suggest that because so an influencer is more of someone that is, well, at least in my understanding of it, they seem to be people that you're trying to gain a large following for the purposes of like sponsorship and things like that. And they're very specific in that realm. And the more people that look to you for advice and or entertainment or whatever, the more influence you have over their decisions in life on what they'll buy and everything like that. So that's kind of a marketing thing properly. Whereas, well, yes, you are marketing yourself in a way, but not in an influencer way, right? What you're trying to do is be a resource. You're trying to be a voice in your community that gives back, that increases, that is building up, right? It's all about that. So when I say tend your garden, what I'm saying is water the garden, right? Go to LinkedIn every day, engage with people's posts, make very specific connections in LinkedIn. Don't just oh, they had something good to say from one time. I thought it was awesome. Let me go connect. You can definitely give them a follow some interesting people, and then connect with those that are really speaking to you, right? That are doing the things that you are interested in, have a voice in that, and then connect with them so that you can start to engage and interact with them and their network as well. So build your network, go to cons, wherever you're at. You probably got some cons somewhere. If you don't have one, you live in a more isolated area of the country or the world, then you got to invest in yourself. And it might take a little bit of money. So say, you know what, I'm only going to go to one con this year because it's so expensive to go. So I'm going to save. I'm going to sell everything that's not bolted down that I just don't need. I'm going to do freelance stuff. I'm going to do Fiverr. I don't care. Whatever it takes, get your hustle on and save that money and go to the con that you think is going to be not only the best for you as far as like making good network connections, human network connections, right? Not RJ45, but business connections and relationship connections. People that I have met so many people that have become my friends, like legit. Mike Saunders from Red Siege was texting me last night. He's like, "Hey, what time are you getting into Denver? What day are you getting in on Monday?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm getting on Monday. Here's when I'm getting in." He's like, "Cool. Let's get breakfast." And like I met that dude at a con. He was giving a talk. I just asked a good question and then was like, "Hey, bro, after his talk was over, can I bend your ear a little bit more? I got a little more to talk about and questions. You're doing something I'm very interested in. Do you mind if I get your feedback? And we sat beside the stage for like half an hour just going over this stuff. And I was like, hey, you know what? You are really smart. You're a really cool dude. I would love to work with you. I do stuff online. I do training. If you're ever interested in doing training courses, I could do that. And we got hooked up and he came and worked with me and we did a whole training course on evading EDR and AV. And it was so much fun. We had a great time. We interviewed him. We did live stream stuff together. It was so much fun. Now he's a bro, right? He's one of my bros. And that's how it works. I met InfoSec Pat at Tampa B-Sides. Just ran into each other and it's like, oh yeah, I've seen you online. I was like, oh yeah, bro, I've seen your YouTube channel. And we just got to talking and he was a cool dude. KevTech, same thing, right? That's how I met Zach, right? Well, Zach came and interviewed me way back in the day. Zach Hill from IT Career Questions. Right. Making sure I get his channel name right. It's my brain said, that's not right. I'm like, no, it isn't. Like, yeah, that is right. Anyway, IT Career Questions. And, I would see him at cons and we would talk, we would laugh. Jerry Ozier from Simply Cyber, woo woo, Team SC, right? Hashtag, go check it out if you're not checking it out. That's another thing I wanted to bring up. I'm glad I'm moving on to that area. But like, build those connections. That is so valuable. It is worth spending that money and doing that time. I've met my friend Sue Neal, right? We became pretty good friends. Ran into each other at the airport going to Wild West Hacking Fest in South Dakota last year. That's where I got this shirt, right? He was like, hey, I know you from YouTube. I'm like, oh, cool, man. He's like, oh, yeah. And then we just started talking. We were on the plane together. We gave him a ride out to Deadwood. He hung out with us. We went and got, we did, back when I was doing like Technado and stuff like that. It was a lot of fun. It was just a good dude that I ran into and he was cool. And that's how it went down. So you got to be investing in yourself. I don't even know how I got down this rabbit hole, but here we are. All right, let me go check the chat here. Let's see here. White Hat Sheepdog says, is there anyway? Oh, I might have missed one. Fred on. Is that as far back as it goes? Yeah. Oh no. Okay. Fred on was the last one. We were talking about his unfortunate scenario where he's at. Best of luck to you there, Fred on, man. We're really thinking about you. Thoughts and prayers in that decision. And good luck with that. Absolutely. So then we have White Hat Sheepdog says there is a show on Apple TV where the protagonist, who is a hacker for a nation state, goes after the power grids called Tehran. It's an interesting show. Cool. Might want to check that out. What else we got going on here? Wayne's Real World says, Running Man, Daniel Lowry. Fred on there, basically want me to come to the office 5 days a week or let me go. Gotcha. So they're saying you got to, it's kind of like a return to work scenario or let you go. Man, that's honestly just up to you. If it were, for me, I wouldn't care. If you want me to come to work, I come to work. I'm from that generation where it's like, that's how it was. Just go to work. I don't care. But maybe you do. Maybe that's a deal breaker for you. And only you can make that decision. Is it worth, do you like your job? Is it worth continuing to go? Is it too much is it a commute? There's a lot, there's a lot of little minutia that kind of goes along with that. So hopefully you're able to kind of figure that out. I hate that you're under the time constraint of getting it answered. Ultimately, that's how things go. Luke J says, local security meetups and conferences. Heck yeah. Hashtag go make a friend. Absolutely. OWASP groups I'm seeing. Volunteering. Absolutely. Right? These are the things that you can do. Man, invest in yourself. And this is what I said. Oh yeah, I'm trying to remember how I got all the way back to this little thread of thought. Is tend your garden, right? This is the best thing you can do to tend your garden. So make a priority list. Make yourself go make a Notion page or something with checklists of things to do every day to tend your garden, and make sure you're doing that. And that is going to open things up to you because you're going to meet people, you're going to make connections, you're going to make friends, and not that it's in a weird, cringy, used car salesman way. You scratch my back, I'll scratch yours kind of backroom scenario, under the table, weird stuff, but hey, I legit just want to help you out because I know you and you're a known entity. And if I'm gonna keep it in my head. If you ever put it out there that like, hey, I'm kind of open to work right now, keep that on the down low, or maybe keep it on the up high, right? Because I need work and I am not shy. Who knows it? Cool. You got a network of people that are going to have that in their mind. They might not have anything for you right now, but maybe they run into somebody that does, and they can go, I can vouch for that person. They're a really good person. They're a known entity to me. And now you have street cred with someone you never met, all because you made those connections in the industry. People can, and I like this, that you can go, if you want to know who Daniel Lowry is, go to my YouTube channel, go to my GitHub, go to my LinkedIn, and you can know who I am. You can see what I do on a daily basis. You can go to Antisiphon, you can see what I'm doing there. You can go to BHIS, you can see what I'm doing there. I'm constantly, now obviously that's kind of like my job, but I worked into that. I didn't like set out to be a YouTube person. I just got bored one day and was like, it'd be fun. I'm gonna go make a YouTube channel. It'll be fun. I did it for me. I still in a lot of ways still do. I do it because I enjoy it. It's fun to do, to get in front of the camera. And like now that I'm doing this live stream thing, here we are in episode 13. And you got all these cool people in the chat. I'm making new friends and people that I talk with every day. And I really enjoy that. So definitely go put yourself out there, right? Let's see here. What else am I missing at here? Last one I saw was that. So yeah. White Hat Sheepdog says, what do you think about different experts, including Ryan Montgomery, being in the Minect app? What would you be on that app? I don't even know what that is. I have not seen it. I'm not really like huge on going and doing a bunch of apps and stuff. I wasn't even on Discord. I didn't have a Discord until like 3 months ago, because and the only reason I got one was because with Antisiphon stuff I do, there's a very vibrant Discord community there. So, and then Jerry, I was like, well, Jerry's got one as well, Simply Cyber, so I'll join that Discord. I joined Red Siege's Discord. Like, those are the 3 Discord channels, and Black Hills, right? So Black Hills, Antisiphon, those are the 4 Discord channels that I am subscribed to. I don't stay logged into it. I hate that it tries to run in the background. I got to kill the whole startup thing so that it stops doing that. I go in, I do it. I don't have time to spend a bunch of time unless it becomes something I can't get away from. Like, I don't have a Twitter or X, right? I don't have Facebook. I have an Instagram that I sorely neglect, right? Just because I focus in on business stuff, right? The stuff, either it's super focused on cybersecurity, and maybe this is as well. I know Ryan Montgomery is a smart guy. I've never met him, but I know people that do know him, and they have good things to say about him. And he's like in a different world and what he does and where his focus is. So maybe that's why he's going on there. Dream Logic says, super proactive with the cyber events. That's a wow. Yeah, gotta be, right? Just get in there as much as you can. I'm not saying you can spend all your time in those spaces, but make some time, right? I try to go and hang out at Simply Cyber right before we do this. So I probably pop in on Friday Daily Brief, end of 8 o'clock hour, almost into 9. If not, I get right into jaw jacking. That's where I like to come in and support the Simply Cyber community, because Jerry and I are friends. We're good friends. He's a solid, awesome dude, and I love everything he does. And I want to go in there and show support and hang out with you good folks, because he's got a great community. And a lot of you have come over to here. So like, you see how it works. We continue to build and flourish. You know what? It's like, here is a good question and a challenge, I guess, to you is, should we keep it intimate like this? Should we continue to, I go to Jerry, cybersecurity, Simply Cyber comes here, Antisiphon. We see a lot of the same people in a lot of the same areas. And it's hard for us to find new people that want to come and hang out with us. Should we challenge ourselves to bring a friend next time to, like, hey, maybe you don't know about this. I do that with like LinkedIn to say, hey, here's what's going on this week. Or if I'm going to be on something specific, I'll make a post and try to get people to come and see what's going on. Not because I want to pump the numbers, but because I think it's going to be a good resource and useful. That's why I would ever do anything. It's always, for me, it's always the intent is to give to you. To here is something interesting, useful, educational, fun, that is going to, and probably in some way, enrich your cyber life. So if you want to come, great. If you don't, that's awesome too. That's just no skin off my nose. I'm not mad at you. I ain't hating, right? So man, we got 15 minutes left. How does the time go by so fast? Oh, and there's an email coming through. So let's see here. Jerry has helped a lot of people. He sure has. He's a great dude. I like Jerry a lot. Luke J. Question. Daniel Lowry. What is your cybersecurity origin story? I think I missed a couple. Yeah, stink. I don't know why, but my chat likes to pop. Wayne says, "Am I getting old?" Yes, I am. We'll get to Luke J here in a second. Super User Do asks, "Is the CEH good or nah? And is Pentest Plus a good alternative? Would CRTO be worth it after?" So I really like CRTO. I'll start there. Great training, good stuff. Especially if you're all about that red team life, it is a great place to get started and get a cert that's well known and respected. I liked it. I thought it was great training. So I would recommend. What else did you say? Is CEH good or nah? And Pentest Plus alternative. All right, we ain't got much time, so let me give you the very short answer on this. For me, I wouldn't spend money on CEH, right? Because Pentest Plus is cheaper. They cover a lot of and here's how I know they cover a lot of the same things. Let me back that up again. Things change so fast. CEH's version 13, I think, is the latest one that is out. While yes, they cover a lot of the same things. I know they updated recently, probably at the end of last year, something like that. And there's some new stuff in there. So I don't know how much overlap is still in CEH versus Pentest Plus. I always liked the Pentest Plus better, even though it was that traditional ABCD multiple choice, performance-based kind of exam. I thought it was pretty relevant, at least on, they asked you about documentation and pre-engagement and all that stuff and post-engagement activities, whereas CEH was more of like, here's a bunch of tools and here's a bunch, and when I say a bunch, I mean a bunch. If you learn CEH material, like everything down to a science, you are going to be, you're going to be a cyber master. But that in historically has not been, in my opinion, how and what CEH is. So if you get that certification historically, in my opinion, again, hedging my bets here, right? Like making sure that I speak generically and in my own opinion. I'm not lambasting EC Council or anything like that. I'm just saying that's not where I would spend my money. It just wasn't. If I wanted to do that and what they're trying to do, I'd probably go like PNPT or maybe even CPPT, like eLearn Security, or even OffSec is just expensive, right? Again, it's all about like how much money it costs versus the training. How good is their training? Can I get grayware training? Like I used to make grayware training for CEH. I was not an official CEH trainer. I just know all the material inside the body of knowledge that you need for the thing, and I'd make courseware for it and training. So I also did that with Pentest Plus. I just liked Pentest Plus better. I thought it was a better exam. I thought it was a more specific and useful body of knowledge in that training environment, right? So that's where it goes. Wayne's World says that Starplier, I am getting blind, kids, asks what to do to add to university training. Okay. Labs, right? Doing stuff, building things. That brings up, we got 10 minutes left. A little more than that. Almost 10. Challenge number 2. Backdoors and Breaches. This is going to be fun. Here's what we're going to do, kids. I am going to pull out the deck here. I'm going to remove the, cards that tell you information. All that is left is the cards. I'm going to give them, I guess I'll just do it. I'll give them a hot shuffle. Give them a shuffle, 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 shuffle. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick a card at random. Or, you know what? I don't have to do that. Let's do this. This is my thought. Let's go here. Let's go to play backdoors, doors, and breaches.com. Or is it play.backdoorsandbreaches? I think that's what it is. Play.backdoorsandbreaches.com. There we go. And we will go into the core deck. And here's what we're going to do. For you red teamers out there, you pen testers out there, I'm going to pick, I don't know what's underneath these cards. It gets drawn at random every time you hit the refresh button. And for you blue teamers out there, we're going to pick one of these procedure cards out there at random. I know they're flipped over, but that'll help everybody be able to see what's going on here. Whatever comes up, our challenge this week is to go down the deepest rabbit hole we can on that specific subject. Whether it be a tool or a concept or a practice or whatever it is, or something on the card, we're going to go down that rabbit hole. And next week, and I'm still committed to doing CyberCast IRL live from Denver. It doesn't help that they both start with de, right? But live from there. And when we get back together, we'll be like, what did we learn? What was something cool? You could pop that in the chat and then everybody will be like, oh, that's cool. Like, it'll be a lot of fun. I'm thinking also about starting a Discord because that way you guys can have a little more fun with like gifts and things and another place to meet if you wanted to. And we can have things like, hey, here are some resources. You can pop links in and everything like that. So that could be a little more fun. So are we ready? Let's draw live with a live audience. FedEx asks, yeah. I'm gonna total guerrilla. It's gonna be phone. I just ordered some little microphones, some like little clip-on lapel mic. So we'll see how it goes. It's an experiment. It could completely crash and burn. Tune in for that, right? Because that could be fun to watch it just go down in flames. But hey, like I said, I do this because it's fun. It's not my job to do this. It is just a fun thing for us to all get together and have a great time. So, who's ready? Red teamers, are you ready? Let's draw a card. Oh, what do we think here? 1 through 4. I'll pivot and escalate. Let's click on that card. Internal password spraying. The attackers start a password spray against the rest of the organization from a compromised system. Here are the detections for that. Cyber deception, SimLog analysis, UEBA. So tools, domain password spray, brute loops, Kerbrute, Metasploits. So your job, kids that are out there that are red teamers that are interested in this, go look at these GitHubs. Go look at this Black Hills InfoSec webcast attack tactics 5 0 to hero attacks and learn about it. And maybe you're able to only spend 5 minutes on this. Hopefully you can do more than that. But my challenge to you is spend some time this week, and maybe you know what password spraying is, but I want you to do your best to become an expert on this in a week. Just push yourself, challenge yourself, find a way. I'm going to write this down because I will forget which one it is. So write this down. And this is going to be password spray. Spray. And you know what I'm going to do? Is I'm going to use the detections for you blue teamers out there. That's a good way to go because you kill 2 birds with 1 stone. We only need 1 card. Grab one of these detections so you can choose either UEBA, cyber deception, or SimLog analysis. I want you to go down a rabbit hole on this. I want you to get crazy, dumb, stupid, smart on this as much as you can within a week. Pretend you're cramming for an exam and you're going to live, eat, breathe, sleep internal password spraying, either attacking with it or defending against it. If you got the time, both. Why not, right? Who's to say you can't do that? But that's the challenge. That's what I'm going to challenge myself with this week. Play around with that. I want to learn more about it. And like, I know a bit about internal password spray. I know a little bit about a few of these tools that do this, but could I know more? Only one way to find out, and that's to dive into the topic, right? That's to see, can I find new gold that I was not fully checked out on when it comes to this? So that is our challenge for this week. That's we got 5 minutes. I got another thing to do. And let me get a close up. And that is, dun, 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 it is giveaway time. I say giveaway. It's more like you are a recipient for being a cool person. This is more like an award for being awesome. And this week's award goes out to White Hat Sheepdog. White Hat Sheepdog, you always bring the fire when it comes to being engaged in the chat room, asking really good questions. And we have talked one time off screen where we had like a Zoom meeting one time, and I could see your passion for this. And I see that, and I see you and your passion in the chat. I see you hanging out and you're doing all the things. And I want to give you a little like kudos, which is what this is. So it is a signed copy of the Corrupted Trust comic, and it is signed by Jack Reciter himself right there. I don't know if you can say, bam, Jack Reciter. I got Jack to sign this. And congratulations on that. I will need you to get with me in LinkedIn to send me the necessary pieces of information, your PII, basically. Don't worry, I will not be recording it or selling it for any purposes that I know of. At least I won't be doing it, not purposefully anyway. So that I can get that to you, I can get that mailed out. I'm really slow at things like that. I don't leave the house a whole lot here lately anymore. So I'll have to make sure that I do that. So just be on the lookout for it. I'll let you know when I mail it. So get me your address so that I can get that out to you. Way to go. And thank you for always hanging out with us. Thank you for doing everything you're doing. And I see you, and I think you're awesome. Okay, what else is going on? What else did I miss? We did not talk about DeepSeek at all. Just real quick, that Chinese AI thing seems to have gained some popularity. Let's go here. And here's just a couple of things I saw about it this week. Artificial intelligence and privacy guarantor blocks DeepSeek. So Italy has blocked it. They were like, nah, dog, we don't like that DeepSeek out here. Not what we're all about. This was an interesting thing about why they're doing that. And how China was like, hey, we don't even do business in. Why are you blocking us? And then Wiz Security had this. This was all this week. Wiz Secure Research uncovers exposed DeepSeek database leaking sensitive information, including chat history. The publicly accessible database belonging to DeepSeek allowed full control over database operations, including the ability to access internal data. The exposure includes over 1 million lines of log streams with highly sensitive information. And just because it's new, kids, doesn't mean it's just ready for prime time, right? And you also have to ask yourself, how much do you trust the entities that have that information? And that doesn't go just for them. That goes for any organization that you tend to do business with, that you are engaged with. Would that be YouTube, Facebook, the whole 9 yards, right? Everybody, there is a risk to engaging with them. You got to weigh that risk. If you hadn't done that and you just saw sharp and shiny and went, cool, new thing, I'm going to dive in like I'm going to dive in. I'm not going to put any kind of security or brakes around this thing. I just want to go play with the new toy. It's probably not the best way to go about stuff. And as we can see, as everything, like we saw this with other AI models as well when they were new. There's another one that I saw out there called Kimi, right? KIMI. 1.5 is another one that's kind of like DeepSeek and is beating the pants off of, at least that's what I hear, word on the street. I don't know. None of this is fact that I know of. I'm just telling you what I've heard. And but different AI models are getting out there that are kind of pushing the boundaries. What do you guys think about that? So We got 1 minute left. Let's see. I'm just going to check the chat room one last time. FedEx says he will claim his next week in Denver. He wants to get his hands on one of these comic books. You know, we very well will have at the BHIS and Anti-Siphon booth copies of this comic, just not signed copies. Unless Jack Reciter is going to be there, which I don't know if he is or not. He very well may. He might be signing there as well. So another good reason to go find these things and hang out. I'm trying to bring to the con to people that couldn't make it to the con when I see them doing cool stuff. So, have I missed anything else? Let's see. Scrolling. Oh, we are at the 11 o'clock. Man, I don't want to miss anything. Thank you. Okay, so White Hat Sheepdog says, thank you. It means the world to me to hear you say all that, and you did. And thank you for the giveaway. You're absolutely welcome. Dreamlock and Logic says, I'm generous. Again, it didn't cost me anything to get this. So, but I think it's cool to be able to like do something for the people that show up and show out and are really putting their hand to the plow on stuff and being cool. So, and I've got so many of you. I wish I had one for every single person that shows up. Honestly, I could give you each one of them if I had them, but I don't. So I'm just going to, when I see something, I'll say something. Man of the cyber people. That's right, White Hat Sheepdog. I'm for you. Thank you again for your stream. Carrie Chases, will you have it live where we can see it? Hopefully, that is going to be the idea. That said, kids, we are at the end of the hour. Man, it's been a fun one. We went through a variety of different things. I'm going to have to go back and rewatch so that I can see how to make the thumbnail that kind of tells people what we talked about. That'll be a lot of fun. But hopefully you enjoyed it. I know I sure did. Hopefully you can make it out to Denver. If you're going to be at Denver, stop by and say hello at Wild West Hackin' Fest. I love shaking hands. I love meeting people in real life. And yeah, it's going to be a great time. So if you can't, maybe at another con. I'm doing a lot of B-sides in Florida. Maybe getting to Hackspace Con. Yeah, there's a lot of opportunity for us to hang out. There's always going to be CyberCast IRL for as long as I can keep it going. Until next time, kids, keep hacking.